Fucking intro.
Yeah, you're the only one with free ball, right?
Yeah, this is what happened.
Free ball.
You say I'm introducing
Oh yeah,
because
short.
Welcome everybody to the Lunchtime Banter Podcast. I am your host Jora, alongside with my co-hosts Kevin, Gurjot, and Preeti, and this is episode number 13. Some of my youngest memories are me lying on my dad's stomach, coming back from the Gurdwara on Sundays and watching wrestling with him. That's what we did in Cornwall.
Bonding.
I did the exact same thing, except my dad wasn't there. I just laid there. And I had the food on my stomach.
We can get into that if you want.
We'd be like face down in front of the TV.
Some emotional scars just came out right now. Alright, ready? Ultimate Warrior was the fucking man, dude.
His energy was like unmatched.
Oh, 100%.
Ridiculous.
No, when he used to be like,
Dude, he would start sprinting before he even like left the back. And he would just have sometimes the entrance was so long. He'd have the longest sprint. He'd be gassed by the time he was there, but that energy was up and it would stay up
he
the whole
just got
time.
it. So were there two of them?
What?
Oh, was it a tag team, you're saying?
No. I remember something about back in the day. One of them allegedly died, and then there was another guy who came over who was still like jacked and shit, and then he kind of took over Ultimate
I never
Warrior's
heard that.
role.
I never heard of that.
Originally, him and Sting were part of a tag team, and they kind of had that face paint.
Yeah.
And then obviously Sting went into his own way, and Ultimate Warrior stayed with his face paint, and he like went his own way.
Who's your all-time favorite wrestler?
Razor Ramon.
Good choice.
Not even like I don't even have to think.
Really? Hulk Hogan for me. I have so many memories. I know he's racist and all that shit, but it's all good.
It's all good.
How many times have you watched his sex tape?
No,
More than he'd like to admit.
yeah.
The one he's fucking his daughter? Huh?
What the fuck? What have you been watching?
Doesn't this girlfriend
No.
look
yes,
exactly like his daughter?
yes,
that was
yeah.
a joke.
I think that was a freaky part, yeah.
But you guys all fucking.
But anyways, he's a fucking
Oh my
legend,
God.
100%.
You can
dude.
imply it, you can't say it.
I thought one person at least gonna get it with me. Like, all you guys fucking looked at us crazy.
I had his back in the day when you were a kid. He had like this like kit. I forgot what it was called. Came with like dumbbells, the wristbands. I think he came even with protein and shit like that. Like, it was like how he used to be like, oh, you gotta eat healthy and to get big and strong and all that kind of shit. Man, it was awesome. Hulkamania all day, then, man. The original Hulkamania. Actually, no, the N.W.O.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
That's the
N.W.O.
best.
one.
So
That was.
I don't have
Hollywood Hogan,
I don't
man.
have a favorite wrestler or anything, but that era, the N.W.O. era, holy
Nothing
fuck.
beats the N.W.O.
Dude, I was
era.
so in it, like I could get in a fight about it. Like, fuck you. No.
Who didn't have an N.W.O. shirt? Straight
Oh,
up.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
didn't
I
have one?
have one right now.
I know. That's what I mean. Like N.W.O. was the shit. And then when they split into like, you know, the Wolf Pack and stuff like that.
Wolfpack
Red
was
and
pretty cool.
black.
Wait,
The
wait,
red
wait.
and black.
That
No,
was
The
no,
red
pretty
and
cool.
black was not bad,
That
but
was
then when it
awesome.
went to like other ones,
That's
they had
what-
their
Yeah, that's where they ruined it.
Yeah.
After that one.
Became so
Dude, the
weird
Wolf
after
Pack, the kissing
No,
thing.
the Wolf Pack was the best too. Sweet.
Yeah, that shit was
That
sick.
was so good. But they overdid it and then
Yeah.
they kind of ruined it. But man, they had a good thing going. N.W.O. man. And even the song. Oh, so
nuts.
good.
Just
So
even like
good.
just the way it started, how like it was like nobody saw it coming. How Hulk Hogan was like the American dream. He was like the always good doer.
Yeah.
He was like you couldn't say anything bad about him. And he came out and turned his back on all those guys and joined the Outsiders and became N.W.O. Fucking people were throwing fucking their pops, their sandwiches, everything they could fucking grab and throwing it in the ring because they were fucking choked that Hulk Hogan switched.
N.W.O. is legit. I have absolutely no clue what is going on now in wrestling. I don't watch it at all. But
It's
they-
difficult to follow, but like they're letting in on more, like they know exactly what they are now. Like, you know how before it's like, yo, is it real? Is it fake? And stuff like that. When we were kids, like honestly, I was like, fuck, is it real? Is it fake? I don't know, but you'd watch it and like you'd be just into it. Now they kind of know like we're entertainment. That's what they're branded as now.
Yeah.
World Wrestling Entertainment. They're entertainment. They know that's exactly what they are. So they kind of like let people into their lives and they know exactly how they're kind of doing their business.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
going
their
to the
business.
reality
Yeah.
Reality.
side of it.
It's
But-
like it's a guy soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing different between that. And
you watch
fucking
it
The
now?
Bachelor
You still
and
watch
shit. I watch a little bit. I keep up. You know, Sonny Dean, he's from Oxford. He's in it now.
How
He's
awesome is that?
That's crazy.
You know, one of probably the not one of the first. Obviously, Jinder Mahal's been in there for a while, but one of the
Tiger
first.
Jeet.
Tiger
Ali.
Ali, you know, a good
Gamma.
lineage there. Gamma Palwan and a bunch of others, but it's pretty awesome how Sonny Deans has made it to the big leagues. Like, not only even on the small show, like he was on NXT before, but now he's like on the big show.
Oh, he's Raw Tag Team Champ.
And Tag Team Champ, exactly. Like, it doesn't get better than
Yeah,
that.
sucks. He had an injury right now, but he went and got surgery and stuff like that. Got that
Stem cells?
stem cell stuff.
Oh, he got stem cells?
Yeah,
Did he go down to
my knee
Panama
feels
for that?
wicked right now.
Where'd he
From
go?
where?
Where'd he go?
In America somewhere.
Texas,
was it
maybe.
America?
It's
How,
in Texas.
how
yeah, a
wild
little
did he
bit,
say the
little bit.
treatment was?
He's like, it's
Or
not-
Nevada,
He's like, dude, it feels
Vegas.
like brand new. He's like, I was running down the street. He's like, oh shit, I need to slow down because it feels real good right now.
Like, too much turbo in there.
Yeah,
That's so good.
yeah,
I want to get stem cells just for the hell of it.
I know. But it's expensive. But yeah,
Yeah. Does WWE pay for that?
yeah, I think he said it was,
Under his contract, I
yeah.
guess, probably because he's champ.
Yeah, yeah.
How does the perks work with that? Like, do you have any insight?
Not
Like,
as
now
much.
now that he's champ, does he get like other perks, benefits?
I'm not sure. I gotta talk to him more about that stuff. I didn't get into that stuff. We just shoot the shit.
Yeah, you gotta get on the inside scoop. We got an insider now.
I know.
You know what? Fuck
Oh,
it.
yeah,
We're gonna
gotta
get him on the
Yeah, there
podcast.
you go.
And we're gonna
100%.
ask him all this. We're gonna uncover the
Yeah.
real WWE secrets for you guys.
Yeah.
Uncover.
Have our
The
own
mystery.
episode of Total Divas here.
The mystery will be solved.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, you're talking about Hulk Hogan stuff. Imagine, like, just think of the amount of shirts that were ripped imitating
Oh.
Hulk Hogan.
Crazy amount. I used to purposely rip my my wife beaters, just tear them to shreds, just because. Some of them were hard. Like, you had to like do the little
You can do the
pre-cut.
Kenchi.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta do
You
with
gotta
the
yeah.
scissors and
You had
cut
to
it
do
a little
a
bit.
little bit of a pre-cut just so you could like execute properly.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone had to do it. Everyone thought they were beast mode on that one.
Yeah. You know, it was like my favorite is Razor Ramon. Close second, Bret Hart. I fucking love Bret Hart.
Canadian, awesome.
Yeah. I went to his dad's tournament. His dad used to have a wrestling tournament in Calgary.
Stu Hart International.
Stu Hart. Oh, dude, it was one of the sickest tournaments.
Very good
And
tournament.
just really well put. Wicked prizes if you went. We got a belt buckle. It was like a nice,
like the
thick, big.
like the Stampede, like
Yeah.
cowboy belt buckle.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, wicked. Honestly, the era they're going into right now, it's like really PG-ish. Like, obviously, like for where the world is going, it kind of like suits that. But fuck, the Attitude Era, the shit they used to do. Oh man, Attitude Era was the best. D-Generation X just fucking.
Remember all the
up.
shit Steve Cole? Oh, Steve Cole.
He always says it. Steve
always
Cold
said it.
Austin.
I don't know why.
Steve Cold
I don't know why. Oh fuck.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone ice cream.
Why the fuck do I always say it's always around you, Joe, for fucking weird reasons? Anyways, Stone Cold. Remember all the shit he did? It was fucking sick, man. Beers up there, fucking.
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Dude, I
Fuck.
like even the stuff they used to do with the women on there. Like, there's no way
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could do
you
that
can't
shit
get-
these
Oh,
days,
yeah,
man.
Bra and panty matches for days.
One time I was in this class and we're kind of like dissecting, you know, like where you dissect, like, you know, companies, they try to like kind of brainwash you, this and that. So we're like focusing on media and stuff like that. So we watched this one episode of Raw where Vince McMahon made Trish Stratus. He like made her like crawl around, take some of her clothes off, and then she had to, I think she was like eating something, or he like made her do something weird or whatever. Dude, like obviously I've seen it
That's
before.
wild.
I know it's fake, whatever. I'm just like, oh, this is whatever. Like just watching it normally. Some of the people in my class, they like fucking were so
Triggered.
so triggered. They started crying. They had to leave the class.
Holy.
Teacher had to go console. We had to turn it off. Oh, dude.
Wait, this is a regular class? Like,
This is at
This is a
the
university
no,
class.
what class was it?
It was
Gender
something,
studies.
no, it's education in media or something.
Okay.
Oh.
It's something about
That's
media.
fucked if
That's
it was in
crazy.
media. I thought it was in like one of those special classes that they look at this kind of shit.
Oh no, it was like everything to
The
do with
gender
like
class or whatever.
media and how like advertising and stuff like that.
And
It's
people
kinda, like
walked out of there
manipulating.
like that.
Huh?
Oh,
Oh yeah, they were
walked out there
choked.
crying, man. He was
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
They had that other episode of Seinfeld on there where Kramer's driving down the freaking street with that taxi, and he had you know that Indian little statue that he had in that one episode, and he's like, he hits the side of the cab, he's like, hey, and he sees Jerry, he's like, hey Jerry, look what I got, and he starts imitating the Indian, he's like, whoa, 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 and stuff like that, and he like hits her and he like throws it up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jerry dating
Oh, yeah,
that
The
she's
native
Aboriginal,
girl.
yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah, yeah,
Aboriginal, and like
Yeah.
he's trying to be like all sensitive because he's not racist, but like everything that's around him makes it seem like he's racist.
Yeah.
They were talking about that too.
Fuck, I hate where this world is going. I fucking hate it.
It's too sensitive.
Yeah.
Well,
I like to call it the pacification.
no, but
like gentrification.
do you think we're just gonna get screwed though? Like the reason I'm saying we're gonna get screwed is like just comedy is getting ruined.
I don't think we're gonna get screwed up because I think we've kind of transitioned into this. But I think the older generation,
They're not even.
you can also see that they are getting.
I don't think I can transition into this.
No, man.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think so because. Like I think there's enough people that are just like, yo, what the fuck you doing? You guys are being so sensitive. You guys are taking it way too serious. Rather than people who like speaking up, like people who speak up and they're like, oh, this is wrong and this shouldn't be happening and stuff like that. Who like take stuff too serious.
Yeah.
They're getting attention because it's just like they have an opposing view.
Yeah.
So you give it attention, and the more attention it gets, it's like, oh, there's so many people like that. Where I don't feel like the mass majority is like that.
Yeah.
As long as the majority still thinks
I
it's
agree.
I think it's a very small vocal minority that they just make a lot of noise. It's
vocal
only a
as fuck.
handful of
They're
people,
bored.
but they'll make the most noise. They'll make more noise than 90% of the people.
yeah.
But I think the 90% is gonna start shrinking
Yeah.
now. That's
Oh,
what
you
I'm
think
saying.
they're gonna start
Yeah,
shrinking?
yeah.
Oh,
It's just gonna. I can see it. It's just gonna go that way. That like
Nostradamus.
that's almost gonna be.
yeah.
That's almost gonna.
I think like
it's gonna
I
be
don't know, I have-
normal then.
I think it's gonna be normal, but like people are still they're just gonna be not as mean and like racist. I feel it because that's what like school and stuff like is being taught now, like accepting everybody, and that's like totally fine.
Oh, I agree with that.
100%.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
accept everybody,
yeah.
but I don't think the jokes should stop and like laughing at stuff.
No, it's not even-
You always have to laugh at yourself, and like you have to be able to laugh at situations.
So to 100%,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And just taking stuff out of context and making big deals out of stuff that is clearly supposed to be a
Yeah.
joke.
'Cause they're
Stuff
looking
where
for
you-
it.
Yeah, because
100%.
they're just looking to be upset and stuff.
Yeah.
But like
But
just
I don't think
Filtering
it's gonna-
comedy is going to be the decline of society.
yeah.
one?
If you filter comedy,
Oh, yeah.
it'll be
yeah.
the decline of society. Like
Yeah.
you have to have that tongue in cheek about whatever's going on.
Just
right,
right,
You can't.
just right now, Joe Rogan. They pulled up an old thing from him. That he went to a Planet of the Apes movie or some shit, and he's like asking his buddy, he's like, "Yo, is this like it's a safe theater kind of thing?" And he's hinting, I think, at like, "Oh, it's gonna be a bunch of black guys, like African guys or whatever, right?" And he's like, "Oh, are they gonna be? It's gonna be." They goes there, and it's just. He's like, "Yo, this is Africa." He said something like that while he's watching it, and people are going crazy over it now.
And this is how
That's
long
wild.
ago?
This
That was
this was
probably-
when he still had hair and shit. Like how now he's
That
like
was like a long
bald-
time ago.
bald-
So he was
bald.
like 5.
No, like he,
And
when
so
he's
was
kept
it,
his little.
was this like a comedy special or like?
no, it was. He was telling
How
a
did-
story.
how
I
did
think
they have-
on the podcast. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what the thing is? He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever. He is.
I know. I'm not saying him. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Okay, I was just saying it. It's
I
like
think that Ebro guy is making the biggest. deal
that's
out of
that's what he brought up. But another person was a person that posted it, and it's like known person that brings up this kind of shit. I have no idea.
But it's
Troll.
stupid to say that about like somebody like Joe Rogan. He always preaches that like you should accept everybody no matter
Yeah,
what the fuck they
exactly.
are, what the fuck they're doing, what the fuck their views are. Who cares? Accept people. Don't like.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta accept
it's stupid
everybody's
to
view.
take-
Just understand. Let them. Like,
Yeah,
live,
it's
be-
stupid to take a tiny sound
Yeah.
bite of them saying like the opposite. And think about it, he's on his podcast. He's probably fucking high as shit.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid to just take that one sound bite out of context and be like, oh, this is probably how that person thinks all the
Yeah.
time, and
that's
they just
what
cover
happens
it
these
up.
days. You
Oh.
take one small
Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
completely out of context without any of the background of any of it, and people just get triggered.
Yeah, celebrities getting fucked like that right
Yeah.
now. All these old tweets. Kevin Hart, what was he supposed to host?
The Oscars.
The
yeah,
Oscars,
so-
yeah.
and then just that one tweet. I don't know how many
I'm
years ago.
so glad he took his stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was like, no,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna
Yeah.
do it. They even
like,
came back and they're like,
because-
we want you to do it. We're okay. And he's like, I don't give a shit if you're okay. I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I already told you guys. No, I already
Yeah.
apologized. I don't need to keep on going through this. I already told you guys what I said and what I
Exactly.
did.
Yeah, every few years when it gets brought back from 10 years ago and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like, yo, if you want to look at me apologizing about it, go find those videos too.
There,
Like-
you know what? People just make it a mission to be trolls. I think
Yeah.
that's the scum of society are trolls, man. The scum of society.
Well, they just want to get
rapists
a,
are pretty bad, but
touche.
any like sort of child molester, they're pretty bad as well.
No, but you know,
they're
you know
up there,
what I
but
mean.
There's
trolls,
scum too. They're
they're
trolls.
up there, but trolls are just they're on top.
No, all rapists are trolls.
Hey, that could very
I
much
know.
be a possibility. They're trying to deflect.
I'm gonna make that shirt.
They're trying to deflect.
Trying to like,
No, but it's like going on into the future, it's like 100% preach all, like everybody should be accepted. You should all, if people have opposing views, whatever, you don't have to fucking fight about it, this and that, but never let comedy get in the way.
There should be a sunset
always
clause.
funniness.
Yeah.
There should be a sunset clause on, stuff you've done and said.
And stuff that was clearly in jokes, like
And not forget even jokes. People evolve,
yeah,
right?
also that
People learn from experiences. They evolve. What your views were one day may be completely different. I know me, like when I was 25 to when I first had my, first kid, like my views completely changed.
Yeah.
And just how I viewed the world and what I'm way more, I was progressive before too, but like there's just certain things that things that I had like this hard opinion on, which didn't even make sense at the time. Like now I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. Right?
Yeah.
So like you change, you evolve as you educate yourself, your thought process changes on how you evaluate things. Like if you're ignorant, you're going to stay ignorant the whole time. But if you educate yourself, that ignorance goes away. That's the whole point of education is you educate yourself in that and you're like, oh, okay, those people aren't that bad or this isn't that bad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're going to be ignorant about it, that's a different story. But all I'm saying is there should be a sunset clause. Like they're pulling up shit that people did back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about what you did. Rape and that kind of stuff. I'm
The
talking
bad
about more
stuff.
of like stuff you say or what your opinion was, because that will change over time. You can't tell me how you thought 10 years ago is how you still think today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For most people, that doesn't even apply. You're a
Nobody.
completely different person.
I don't
Imagine
think
if
that
20
applies for anybody.
Imagine in 20 years somebody takes what we said on this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
be
They probably
completely,
will. They probably
they'll be
will.
completely out of context.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But
And that when we're in that stage, then we're gonna be like, no, there should be no comedy at all. Exactly. That's what our views are gonna be. But we're gonna hear this and be like, fuck
Yeah.
you guys,
But
you guys said that.
think about how much changes in the era, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Dude, in a couple, like probably 3-4 years, it's like holy shit, what the fuck
Yeah.
were we doing back then?
Yeah.
3-4 years, shit
Yeah.
changes every time.
Yeah.
And just the evolution of language. Like there are certain words that were medical words and terms, and they keep getting changed every couple of decades and stuff, because it ends up being too much of a slur, too much of this and that. Like think about it. 10 years ago, we could call each other retarded all the time, all day.
Yeah,
You're
still-
fucking retarded.
I still
we
do
still
use that
do,
word.
but you're not supposed to anymore. You're not
Anymore,
supposed to say
fuck
retarded
all that.
anymore.
Fuck all that
Even
shit.
like saying Indians to
Yeah.
like
Native
Aboriginals,
to
like
Nate-
saying Indians.
Yeah, I still accidentally say them all the time.
Yeah.
If-
You know what's fucked up? I actually learned about this today. Redskin. You know why they're called redskin, or like how that started? Because when
Isn't that because they used to skin?
they used to scalp them,
Scalp 'em.
Oh,
and
wow.
they'd have the blood like rushing down their face and so on, and be like, "Oh, they have red skin," and like that's where redskins came
What
from.
the
And look how
fuck?
fucked up that is. That's how that's what connected to that name.
Yeah.
Getting scalped and tortured is connected to the name Redskins, and the fucking Washington Redskins still have the fucking name.
Wasn't there a big protest for them to change their name?
There was.
And I think they changed their logo, didn't they? But not the name.
That's
No, their
fucked.
logo's still
Or is the logo's name too?
I think it's still the same.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess they just said fuck you
That's
to everybody.
pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's wild.
Wow.
yeah, it's fucked up.
But
The other thing I was actually going to talk about, where Joda was talking about it, how we were like progressive, stuff changes, stuff like that. Other thing is like people make mistakes, and it's like, but you learn from your mistakes. So you should be making mistakes like every day, so you can learn from them. Every time I make a mistake, even if I fucked up big, and like people yell at me about it, I'm like, okay, I've learned now. Now I know what's
Now I
wrong.
know what-
Not
now
gonna do
I'll
that
know.
again.
Yeah.
Now I'll know what's right. But obviously that also has a limitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't just go out there fucking rob a bank.
Oh,
and be
I'm
like,
not supposed to
I
kill
made a
people?
mistake. I'm not supposed to do this.
but for like for obvious things, obviously you can't do that. But
Yeah.
for like the situational things, yeah, you're not gonna know until you're in that situation. You don't know how you're gonna act, react, and however it pans out afterwards, you'll reflect on it and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. I should have done it this way. But hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like quarterbacks afterwards. Oh, you should have done this. You should have done that. It's
Well,
like,
that
man,
guy was wide open. It's
Yeah.
like I had fucking 2 seconds to decide.
So you
jackass.
shut the fuck up, man. Like you weren't in that situation.
Yeah.
You don't know what pressure was on me. I had to make the decision I did at the time, and with the information I had to make what I thought was the best judgment call.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, and you were like, oh yeah, you could have done this and that and this and that.
Yeah.
I do that to people all the time.
Yeah. You know how you're like ignorant people need to be like educated type of thing. I think the most important lesson that like quote unquote ignorant people need to learn is like you are allowed to live your life with views, and like other people are allowed to live their lives with their views, and you guys are both able to live simultaneously and not kill each other.
you know
if you
why?
guys have
Yeah,
different
yeah.
views,
You know why?
exactly.
It's
You know why?
completely.
Because usually both are wrong.
True, there's
Preeti
normally
2020. Hashtag both are wrong.
Mic drop right there by Preeti.
Hashtag both are wrong.
I'm right.
Fuck everybody else.
Communist 2020.
Okay, wait. Now you're taking a whole weird. I'm the wrong one too. But I think I have a better idea than them.
He's less wrong than
I'm
everybody
less
else.
wrong. That's all.
Hey, if we spread around all the money that we have in the world, there would be no like poverty or like hunger or anything over the world.
But then nobody would be working either, and we would get nothing done.
But I thought that
That's
was
not what
your,
I was saying.
That was,
Yeah,
that was
isn't
your
that
whole,
your-
that was your platform for running for 2020.
No. The way he's saying is like, oh, there's enough money to be that we. But if we divided all that money, then we're all the same exactly.
I
again.
think.
Well, if you do money alone, because then money
that's
at
what I'm
one
saying. That's what I'm
point.
saying. He's saying money.
I'm just saying at one point, so then it's all level. Then everybody grows.
I think the world should strive towards everybody has. When I mean basic needs, I mean food, water, shelter,
Yeah, that's it.
and then after that, you
Exactly.
know, figure your own shit out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, but
Oh,
shelter.
so you're voting for me then? It sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Depends if I can pull your strings like they're doing right now.
I'm gonna be the puppeteer with my hand up your ass.
Oh, you think you're gonna get that? You're gonna be the first one whacked, buddy. I'm gonna have a signal. Okay?
Look at the kind of government this guy's going around.
Jokes, bro.
Goddamn,
Jokes.
Preeti 2020.
I want to kill you. You're my fan.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. Remember? I thought you were gonna kill me. There.
You started pulling out guns and shit.
Dude, it was snow day.
Pulling up guns.
Shit was freaking closed, and we were like, "Oh, do we have to go and fight for civilization right now?"
Like, how long should we wait?
This guy didn't have electricity for like I don't know how many hours. I had to go save him and shit. And we were back at my house. We were at the base, and we're like, "Hey, should we go to town right?" And I'm like, "No, everybody else."
First,
We're still safe.
First,
cell
I was
towers aren't even
safe.
down.
I was safe. I fucking got in my room, right? Protected the whole motherfucking thing. My dogs were there. Got candles ready. Everything.
He was
I had
already
everything
chewing on a leather belt, just waiting it out.
ready. This tastes like food. No, but I was good. And then after 72 hours, I was going to go to Superstore and rob it.
72 hours, that's a cutoff.
The roads are all plowed. Like shoppers in there. Preeti casually walks in. All right, this is a stick out, motherfuckers.
I don't want the money. I don't want the money.
Give me all your food.
Just need the food.
Give me your hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
The hot Cheetos or jalapeno Cheetos? I think
The
I'm more a fan of
jalapeno. The flaming
ones,
hot
man.
ones are like, they're too
Not the
like
flaming
sour.
hot.
Jalapeno, man.
Yeah, the jalapeno
Jalapeno cheddar.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jalapeno. Those are the ones. Legit.
Best chips ever.
Yeah.
Number one.
Actually, I was talking to somebody about this. They were like, they like that Miss Vicky's jalapeno ones or
Oh
something.
yeah, those are
Oh
also
yeah,
sick.
so good.
Nice crunch.
It's all about the crunch,
Yeah.
man. It's got a perfect crunch to it.
And it's the hard crunch.
Yeah.
I think.
I
That
can.
was quite a left turn.
I don't know how this happened. We just moved.
You
into-
three. I was like, what the fuck?
Fuck you, I'm hungry.
These kind of chips. What the fuck were we
Hey,
just talking about?
don't ever take me to Superstore again.
Talk about food. He goes right. Come on.
Don't talk about food around me.
Preeti, what's your favorite foods?
The fuck? I thought we did an episode like this.
We did.
Yeah, we
but-
did. But he wants.
wanna
Preeti's
know-
always
You want
updating.
an update?
Preeti's
Yeah.
always eating new stuff.
Because
Chinese food is
because
Chinese
you're
food
messed
is-
up. Because I want to know if your views on melons change.
Oh, they'll never change.
No, wow.
I like,
never
I like
change.
looking at them, but I don't like eating them.
Come on, Preeti. You
God
gotta
damn.
grow, learn, evolve.
Did you say something about Chinese food?
Oh, I love Chinese food.
Mall-
I fucking love Chinese.
mall
Hey,
Chinese?
let's stop because I don't want to get hungry.
I know, right?
Stop while we're ahead.
Yeah,
Serious.
honestly, we're gonna get whoever's listening hungry too. It's not good.
We have no access to food, so right now we're just gonna stop talking about it.
No access to food. Like there's no full fridge. in the factory.
We're gonna skip the dishes real soon.
Real soon. Man, I swear, skip the dishes, DoorDash. This stuff has just changed my life for the negative.
For the negative.
It is bad.
I have too much access to like. There's so many
Just
days where like
quick,
I got
easy
shit in
food.
my fridge, and I'm just like, I do have the app, and literally I can get anything I want right now
Without
so-
moving a
Dude,
muscle.
Yeah.
That's with technology, fucking the food, right? Then it was Netflix. Before it was Netflix, watching anything like repeatedly,
Yeah.
binge watching. Every year, the technology gets better.
We're good.
Our willpower has to get better. It's
Yeah.
fucked up, man, and I can't handle it.
It's just ridiculous.
I had no willpower to begin with.
Huh?
I had no willpower
Yeah,
to begin with. How's it gonna get better?
Dude, I've never had really good willpower except once quitting smoking when I stopped. But once I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's all my willpower. I can't fucking handle the shit.
That's the willpower I had for the rest of my life.
hey, I used it all. There,
I
okay?
used it on one thing. I'm done.
I basically had to like manipulate my willpower. That I was like, I want to eat shit all the time, and I'm gonna do it. But I'm just gonna work all hard enough that I deserve it.
See, I just hate
tell myself that.
Yeah, then you still deserve it.
And then and I'm like,
Yeah,
I worked mentally hard today, so I deserve
That's
it.
what I do now. I fucked up. Now it's like, oh, I did that walk. You know? I walked from here to the like up the stairs. You know, I'm good for the day.
I went back to ketosis. Wow.
You mean keto?
Keto. Yeah. And
You didn't go back to ketosis.
It's
You went
keto
back to
diet.
keto diet.
Your
Ketosis
body
now.
is ketosis.
Okay.
You adapted.
This is awesome correcting Kevin. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, calm down, Cold Stone.
But the only way I get through it is by like just hating myself. It's like, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve anything. Don't fucking eat, you piece of shit. That's the only way I can diet.
Man,
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Because you also do intermittent fasting
yeah,
with it, right?
yeah. I'll go like 20 hours without eating almost every day.
20?
Yeah, I go hard.
That's
for
easy
it.
for
And
me.
you
too.
do a 4-hour window?
Yeah,
it's so
I go
easy. He's
fucking
He's practicing,
hard.
man. He's training for when we do
Wow.
it.
How do you not? How are you not able to do it? I don't get it.
I do a
No, I know you do the intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
but why can't you do it like longer?
because I get hungry.
Is
you
it
have
just
so much-
wait? Is it just you get hungry, or is it because things are going around you?
People around you are hungry.
Like your kids, you're feeding your kids.
No, like the only way it works for me is I can't even do it on the weekends because like I gotta make food for the kids.
So wait.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the longest you've gone is 5 days.
Basically,
You told me you went a year keto.
when I was
wait,
when I was
but it's 5 days a week.
when I was keto,
Actually,
I was strict 7 days a week, and like
okay.
it was like
Yeah.
full blown.
But the intermittent fasting, actually, you can take 2 days off a week and it still has
Yeah.
Oh, obviously,
very similar
Obviously,
effect, yeah.
But
if you don't, then it's even worse. I mean, better.
better.
But at work, I have too much. When I mean temptation, I have people who come to my office and be like, "Yo, man, you want
Yeah,
to
that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Is it just you?
Fuck, dude.
Because I'm sure you could do 22 hours.
I probably could.
I'm saying it's other things factors.
Realistically, there are certain days when I get just so busy that I could just keep on working
Yeah.
and not even like bat an eye, and then come and eat when I get home, and that
Exactly.
you
probably
ever-
give me more than like basically a 20-hour window.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a multiple day fast?
Fuck
Yeah, what's the
that
longest
shit,
you've
man.
done? That's what I was gonna ask.
72 hours, no food.
I did 4.
And
Would
that
you
was
wanna
during the
kill
summer.
yourself?
That was during like berry season. I was busting my ass, dude. I had to keep taking breaks. I had to just stop because I was just
He was
gassing.
gassed.
Yeah, because I was
no
like, I
energy.
know it was just I was eating my own fat. So
I did. I
think I
did.
did,
I
like-
did 4 or 5 days last year. This
Full,
time-
wow. 4 or 5?
full blown.
My mom, sorry, my sister wouldn't believe me. And she's like,
wild.
no, there's no way. And my mom's like, yeah, man, this guy has an name.
Wait. Did you guys have water though?
Yeah,
I had
you
water.
have to.
Yeah, you
You
have to.
have to.
You'll die.
You can't go more than 3 days without water.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
but-
did like 40 hours no water.
Oh shit.
No water?
That's-
The
Dude,
fuck
that's
is wrong with you?
dangerous.
That-
Why would you do that?
That's the complete opposite of what you're supposed
I
to
know.
do.
No, not 40.
Why? Explain to me why.
That's cutting weight.
Water? Okay,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah. But that shit's dangerous. You need the water.
That's
Yeah.
so bad for you.
What I realized is I started having to take in salt. I had to start eating
Yeah.
salt because I was like, oh
You're
shit, like
losing
I'm starting to,
electrolytes.
yeah.
3
I started,
days?
yeah, because it was summer. I was sweating
Oh,
my
so-
balls off.
summer.
Like,
I did it in winter.
Like I was working
You'll
my
lose
ass off
electrolytes.
while I was eating.
Yeah,
nothing.
but 3 days I didn't think it would, but I did it in winter. So.
You got to replace your electrolyte. I think that actually
Yeah.
no, I have fasted. I think it was like 36 hours, and like it almost killed me. I felt like it. I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Why did you have to do this 36 hours?
Because I was hospitalized.
He said, the doctor, I need food. Give me McDonald's stat.
And they didn't know if they wanted to do surgery on me, so they're like, "Just
Oh,
you're
yeah,
not gonna
you
eat."
Yeah,
Were you on IV or anything?
Yeah.
Well, then it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But the IV is what's it
That's
called?
not digested.
It's
though, but like,
it was just what do you
but-
call it?
Sugar
But-
though.
but-
if they were
oh,
giving
yeah,
you
they're gonna give you
glucose,
sugar.
that's you're getting energy. You're just not eating it.
Oh wait,
It's-
mine was
the only-
36 hours.
huh?
Mine
You're,
was 36
all
hours.
that's happening there is your digestive system getting
Yeah,
a break.
it's just they're giving your digestive system a break. The rest of your body is still getting.
You're still getting
nutrition.
everything.
It's not everything. They might
My
have
body
put you
wasn't
on
getting
a.
shit. I was hungry.
Yeah,
No,
your
but that's the
digestive
thing.
system was
Yeah.
hungry. Your stomach was hungry. Your mind was hungry.
How crazy is it that there's just a big long tube that goes right through us? That's what your digestive system is. It just
Yeah,
has a
big
couple.
tube. And
Yeah, and
Nutty.
it's wild.
sometimes it can be.
But after the fast though, if you go longer, you have to come back in a weird way too. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah, you can't just shotgun like a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had to.
That shit will
I
fuck you up.
had to get this special fucking broth shit that's like supposed to be the best for you from a specialty fucking grocery.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a
Hide a line?
chicken broth. But because true hunger comes in. It's called true hunger. Like you can't stop it, and you have to have it there. Otherwise, you almost turn into an animal. Like you're just like, fucking give me the goddamn food.
You're gonna
Like
eat
you'll
the next
hit,
person
you'll
you
hit
see.
like like anybody in your face. Like, like say if your kid got on the wheel, kick him.
How many days in were you?
4 or 5 days, like
4 hours.
After that, it was
I
just
will beat up a kid to get this burger right now.
So now we know. Now we know if we get in an impossible situation, we got about 4 days before Preeti tries to eat us.
before Preeti starts
probably like
eyeing
2
us
days
up.
for you.
I always had
I'm
like
gonna have the shotgun.
I'm telling you, that's why.
What never.
Exactly.
after like cutting weight and stuff, like I had like a routine. Like that time where I did 30. It was like 36 hours because I ate at like 8 p.m. I went to sleep, woke up, found out I had to lose 20 pounds, and then I went the full 24 hours. And then the next day at 8 in the morning, then I weighed in, and then I could have food. But I
Holy.
basically shut off everything from that dinner.
Did you
before.
make weight?
Yeah.
Holy.
But fucking
20 pounds in
part,
one day?
20 pounds in 24 hours.
You're fucked.
The fucking shittiest part about it, I cut down to 197. Fucking still wrestled heavyweight the next day. Didn't even wrestle fucking 197. I was pissed.
You
Why?
fool.
We had another guy at 197.
All that weight cut for
All that weight
nothing.
cut. But like after 20 pounds, 24 hours. Oh, it was the worst. It was in the sauna, and it was like the 3 steps. So up at the top for a couple minutes, throw water on my face. Middle step, throw water on my face. Bottom step, throw water. Go back to the top, and like you had a routine.
Is it true that if you have a really dangerous weight cut, that you could shut down your
Yes.
body's ability to reproduce,
Whatever it is.
to
Yes.
produce,
Whatever you're asking.
Whatever
yes.
you're asking, yes.
to produce insulin, and then you could basically become a diabetic afterwards?
Oh, shut up.
What do you think happened to?
That's what happened. That's
yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't say his name for privacy reasons.
Yeah.
We have
One
a
of our
friend.
friends.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
pretty sure that's how he became a diabetic. He had a really terrible weight cut.
Yeah.
Really?
wild.
Yeah.
And he's a type 2.
Type
Yeah.
1, then isn't it worse?
I don't know.
Type
No,
2, the one where
The
you have to
worst one.
inject yourself.
The worst
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it one?
Type 2. Type 1 is like naturally you're born with it.
Or you're just
Type
Yeah,
2
yeah,
oh,
is,
okay.
Yo,
They're
craziest
slightly
story.
When he
So-
fucking went.
Yeah, man. So it was Inder's wedding,
Oh, okay.
Right?
I remember this.
and we were coming back.
Would you stop and shit?
Yeah, dude. He like if anybody's ever experienced anybody who has a diabetic episode, basically they start slurring their words and it's like they're drunk.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it is. And
That's
so,
what we thought it was.
yeah,
Because
and it's very
it was like a
confusing.
wedding. He was drinking
Yeah.
a little bit. We're like,
It's
yo,
very-
he's faking. Like, not faking, but I was like, oh, he's just drunk. Like,
Because
he's
everybody
just
else
a
was
little-
drunk.
no, and then he said to us, he's like, make a video. I don't even know what I did with that video. I used to have the video. He's like, make a video. He goes, I'm not drunk. He goes, I'm having a diabetic attack.
Oh,
He goes,
wow.
take me to the walk-in. We go to the walk-in. We like haul ass to the walk-in.
Yeah.
We literally pull in. Right next to the walk-in was an M&M meat shop, and they were having like their summer barbecue. And we just pulled like nosed right in. He opened the door, threw up right in front of their barbecue. We walk into the what's it called, into the medical center, and the guy's like, yo, I need this shot. He knew exactly what he needed, and the nurse is looking at him. She's like, no. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, you guys think I'm drunk? I'm not. I'm having a diabetic episode. Give me a shot or whatever of whatever he needed. They wouldn't give it to him. Luckily, Jay's Pizza was next door. We grabbed him an orange juice and some
Oh,
pizza
nice.
and gave it to him. And
I remember he's just sitting on the curb
Yeah,
drinking.
on
fucking
the
orange
curb, on the curb, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure.
And it was like feeding, giving some
Like a homeless
drunk
guy.
person.
Yeah, exactly.
Drunk, like okay.
Yeah, like a drunk
Okay,
person.
sure.
A drunk homeless.
Yeah, there you go.
A drunk
And it's like
homeless.
giving him like, oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Like I feel better. It
Yeah.
was so weird. I'm
It
not.
was
That's
like he
the
was
first time
drunk
I-
and he was acting like a little kid.
Yeah.
It was
That's
the
wild.
craziest
Yeah,
thing to see.
I've never seen that even after that.
Yeah.
And
the
then
only
I
time
remember
I've
we
seen it.
dropped him at home, and his dad beat the shit out of him because his dad thought he was drinking.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, man, it was
Oh, I
awesome.
didn't know that part.
Yeah. It was funny.
He had a happy ending after.
Yeah. He made it to the reception. That's all that counted.
Yeah.
So we thought he was gonna be like out, but he recovered.
Yeah.
But that was my first first time I'd ever seen anybody have a diabetic shock, and I was like, holy shit, what the hell's going on here?
They should really prepare us for this, like in school.
I know.
For like certain
should
ones,
be.
like Peanut, they're doing so much, right? We should know what the fuck's going on because like
Yeah,
you
well-
could be like, what the fuck's happening to this guy? And if you have some sort of clue, you could help at least.
A lot of people like don't know. They'll just be like, "Oh, this guy's drunk." Well,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
he needs is like a little bit of like
Alcohol.
Get him drunk even more.
A lot of the
But
first
moral of the
aid
story?
courses do it now, though.
Cutting weight, very bad.
Very bad.
They after that, like not because of that, but like after I think a couple of years after that, they basically implemented at the starting of the season, they're gonna come and test your body composition, and depending how much like water you have, your fat you have, you're gonna have a certain weight of your body that like you are not allowed to go below. So it goes
okay.
by your body.
Dangerous-
So it's like
dangerous.
how
That's
healthy,
good. Yeah.
how can you still be healthy and cut weight?
That's
Like
cool.
this is the minimum you
Yeah.
can go.
Where does
You
that?
cannot.
Does
So
that start in
basically-
high school?
No, it was in university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So does that mean they basically set your weight class for that year? essentially.
Basically, you
Kind,
can't-
yeah,
you can't go
kind
out
of
these windows.
technically, but
can't
it's like you cannot go below this weight.
Yeah.
So it's like you're only eligible for the one above or the one even above that.
Okay.
Unless you have a shitload of fat
They
on
should
you,
even
you
do
can
that.
cut a little bit
Yeah.
more. But if you're like obviously straight up jacked, no fat on you, you cannot cut that much.
If it's easy to figure out, they should even do it in high school, man.
Yeah.
That's probably when the kids don't know what
do the
fuck
most
they're doing.
damage. And
yeah.
did you know that apparently wrestlers are supposedly shorter and stuff because of the weight cutting? Apparently, it throws your hormones so out of balance that wrestlers in general tend to be shorter because they have more muscle mass
That
but
can-
are
that-
shorter in
that-
height.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
Because
makes total
the
sense.
body's like, oh, I'm not getting shit.
Yeah.
I'm not growing
Yeah.
today.
Your-
Especially if you're looking
Your
at
HGH it goes down a lot. and
especially in the U.S. where wrestling is way more competitive
Yeah.
than Canada, and they start earlier, and especially the competitiveness side. Like some of the U.S. tournaments we went to, like with the elementary kids.
Yeah.
Like look how like
Nuts.
nuts those like kids
Like,
were.
super technical at like fucking 8 years old.
Yeah, it didn't
Holy.
even make sense. I was like, "Yo, where are we? These guys are putting a clinic on these kids, man."
I was just sharing that one video on Facebook. Did you see that from Russia? Oh, dude, these kids are doing back like suplexes, and they're like 10 years old.
Wow,
Dude, and the way their technique is and their positioning is unreal for what they're doing. They just go back and straight up bridge.
I don't even think I started to try suplexes until I was in like grade 10 or 11. And even then, I didn't get it right. I was like, I'm probably gonna break my neck or break that guy's neck.
yeah, yeah. I remember we did it onto like foam, like one of those gymnastic
crash
bags.
mats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crash,
crash
mat.
mats,
like
yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
And
We
just
had the
flop on
dummy,
top.
hook the
Yeah.
arm, and
Oh, we were doing it on each other.
and take it for a ride, but we were practicing on the dummies then. But
Yeah.
I think there was like a couple of guys, and the only reason those guys could do like a proper like Mr. Perfect suplex, a perfect plex,
A perfect
or whatever,
plex.
right? Was because like I think two of them had like a gymnastics background, and one was like a judo. So the guy had just awesome flexibility,
Yeah.
so he could bend his body right in half, and he did literally the perfect plex, man. He even souped a guy in one of the tournaments, shoulders right on the mat, boom, lights out.
Touch pin.
Wild.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
That makes
shorter.
complete sense if it is stunting their growth,
Yeah.
right?
Because I mean, think about it. 20 pounds in one day, like that's not fucking healthy in any
Oh
sense.
yeah, it wasn't.
So here's another myth. Like I put my daughters in gymnastics, and we were a little concerned. I'm like, I don't want them. It's stunting their growth or whatever. So we were talking to the gymnastics coach, and she's like, "That's a myth." And she's like, "It just the ones that you see in the Olympics and whatever
They make it better.
Tend to be shorter.
Because-
tend to be
because-
shorter.
because of size.
It's because they're
Yeah.
more compact, they're tighter, and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Big
So the ones who excel and make it into the elite are generally of smaller
Yeah.
composition. They're like, it doesn't actually
Yeah.
affect and stunt your growth.
Yeah, it's like sprinters and stuff like that. And then fucking
Yeah.
Usain Bolt came along. It's like, what the fuck? This makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Completely
Yeah,
different,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like nobody's that tall should be that fast.
All right, I think we should wrap this one up. Thought of the day.
Any thoughts?
Any thoughts?
I was thinking one of the things I said was, don't be afraid to make those mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Make at least one mistake a day.
Don't do it purposely.
Yeah, and never the same mistake
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
know
not
what?
growing if you're not.
So
Change-
Make new mistakes.
I don't make it purposely, but all my decisions are mistakes in a day. So what do I do there, doctor?
learn
Learn
from
from
them.
it.
I
Like,
do.
next time
I
I'm
thought.
not gonna
I
do
think
that.
I learned, but
I don't think you do. Cold stone.
Cold
You've
Stone
made that
Austin
mistake
Steve.
3-4 times already. You're not learning.
I don't know how to talk, dude. That's why.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. Hit us up at ltbcast@gmail.com or ltbcast on Instagram. We appreciate all your feedback. We're gonna get a lot more. We're gonna start doing some more interviews. Let us know who you'd like us to interview, and if you have a connect with anybody who you think should be on the show, and we'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Peace.
For life.